All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. So, the Boston Celtics, they saw their season come to an abrupt end this past Friday night at the hands of the New York Knicks as a season for the Celtics that began with championship aspirations has shattered. The Celtics, in my opinion, had all of the necessary tools to run it back, and that's why I picked them when this postseason began to go back there to the NBA Finals and win it all again. And nonetheless, we've seen once again that you could have the tools to go out there and get the job done. But having the tools to get the job done and getting the job done are two different things. For me, I really feel that the time has come for Boston to stop relying on the 3-point shot so much. You look at this 6 game series against the Knicks, okay? The Celtics jacked up 277 3-point shots for the series, which is more than 33 pointers per game, okay? The Knicks, in comparison, had 202, okay? And in my opinion, that right there was the undoing of the Celtics. Boston went 15 of 60 3-pointers in game number one. They lost at home. They were 10 of 40 from downtown in game number two. And in both of those games, we saw the Celtics have 20 plus point leads and squander both of them. And it's like it's one of those where they gave the Knicks hope. And I'm not saying this to slight the Knicks, but they gave them hope and they gave them confidence. And by the time the Celtics tried to put it back in the bottle, it was too late. Okay. You just look at this. Boston has and especially in the series, they focused so much on a 3-point shot. And the Knicks were like, you know what? Go ahead, do what you got to do. We're going to run our half court sets. We're going to get our 2-point shots. We're going to get to the basket. We're going to play more efficient. And at the end of the day, that's why the Knicks won this series. The Knicks, to me, treated this like a boxing match, as they simply sat back and let the Celtics punch themselves out, while the Knicks had the more efficient punches. And when it was all said and done, when it was time for the body blows, the Knicks were able to deliver those body blows to Boston. But nonetheless, okay, we talked about the Celtics living and dying by the 3-point shot. They've done it all year, and they've done it for quite some time now. And in my opinion, okay, the worst thing that could have happened with the Celtics from that front was them winning the NBA championship last year. Because if you win a title doing a certain thing or certain things, you're not going to tinker with the sauce. But now, in my opinion, the time has come for the Celtics to do so. First things first, we know that they are not going to have the services rather of Jason Tatum for a chunk of next season. He suffered that Achilles injury in game number four. You know, hopeful that he has a healthy and speedy recovery, and he'll be back at some point next season for Boston. We just don't know when, and of course, getting that explosiveness back in his legs as well. Also, the looming luxury tax bill for the Boston Celtics. Already, we're talking about a team that has more than $200 million committed to player salary next season. I talked about this before, and it was a shrewd move by now former majority owner Wick Grousbeck to exit stage right before that luxury tax bill was coming due for the Boston Celtics. You've got both Brown and Tatum making more than $50 million. Drew Holiday is over $30 million. Same thing can be said for Kristaps Porzingis, and of course, Derek White is near that. So that's a lot of money that we're talking about for just 5 guys. So that luxury tax bill, the tax apron, all of that stuff. Let's see how that affects things, and affects the off-season plans for the Celtics front office to see what this team is going to look like for next season. But regardless of who's going to be on the floor for the Boston Celtics next season, I think the time has come more than ever for them to focus on having more ball movement in their half court sets, not just settling for the 3-point shots, getting to the basket, working on the mid range, doing all of the little things better, and not just relying on the 3-point shot. In my opinion, I mean, don't get me wrong, no team made more 3-point shots than the Celtics this past season, but it got you to the dance. I totally get it, but I felt like at some point of this series, uh, Celtics head coach Joe Mazzulla needed to make more adjustments, and when he decided to make those adjustments, it was simply too little, too late. For me, I felt like, and this again, this is not a slight against the New York Knicks, but I felt like the Boston Celtics took them for granted. They took care of their business against the Knicks during the regular season. They got up big on New York in game number one, and they said, you know what, this ain't no big thing. But it's one of those where when you have an opportunity to put a team away, you put them away. The Celtics did not do that. They gave the Knicks life. The Knicks got so much confidence after they came back in the fashion that they did in game number one. And when Boston got up big once again in game number two, the Knicks were like, okay, you know what? Been there, done that. They came back and beat them again. And, we saw spirited effort from the Celtics in game three with the 115 to 93 victory. But I really feel at that point it was too little too late. We saw them get another double digit lead in game number four. They squandered that. And then, of course, the Tatum injury in the fourth quarter of that game really took the life out of the Boston Celtics. They rebounded for game number five at home, but at that point, the Knicks, saved, in my opinion, their best game of the series for the closeout game. And like I said before, Boston gave the Knicks life, and they paid for it in those first two games. It should have been a scenario, and I'm not here to play the would have, could have, should have card. But if you're Boston and you know and you feel that you're the better team, you go out there and you stomp on them. You get a 20 plus point lead at home in the first two games. You've got to win those games going away. And you've got to send the Knicks back home with so much doubt against themselves, and like in themselves, that the pressure is on them and it continues to cascade. Celtics didn't do that. They did the opposite. They gave New York life. New York had so much confidence. They built off of that and they were like, you know what? Hey, you left us in this game. You left us in this series. Thank you so much, Mr. Celtics. And we're going to go out there and take care of the business. And again, the Knicks made the Celtics pay for it. You can get away with that against average teams. You can get away with that against bad teams. You can't get away with that against some of the better teams in the NBA, especially in the postseason. And again, whenever you lose, the things that you don't do well always show up at the most inopportune time. The Celtics, I think, yeah, they won 61 games during the regular season. Okay, and that's not a slight because that's not easy to do in the NBA. But nonetheless, I feel like the Celtics take games off sometimes, and sometimes they play down to their opponent. And I feel like it was one of those where they did it again in this series, and again, it just hurt them, and they paid for it big time. And that's why the Celtics, that's in my opinion, that as well as the execution by the Knicks is a big reason why the Celtics season is over right now. Now, yes, the Celtics organization has won 18 NBA championships. No franchise in the National Basketball Association can claim more championships than the C's. But you still got to go back to the days of Bill Russell in 1969, okay, to find the last time that the Celtics were able to repeat as NBA champions. Like I said, as the summer is about to begin for the Celtics, a lot of big questions. Is this it for the 38-year-old Al Horford? He's been a veteran presence on the Celtics team for years. His contract is up after this year. Will he be back? Do the Celtics want him back? Does he want to be back? I think if Al Horford does play basketball in the NBA next season, it will be for the Celtics. If it's not the Celtics, in my opinion, I don't see Horford playing. Peyton Pritchard has really, established himself. We're talking about the sixth man of the year. You've got some talent there for the Boston Celtics. Of course, again, you know that there's not going to be Tatum for a chunk of next season. Jaylen Brown was dealing with knee issues towards the end of the season. Now it came out about his meniscus, and he's going to have to deal with that over the summer and rehab and get himself ready for next season as well. Nonetheless, I think the Celtics are going to be right back in the mix because we're talking about a team that has played deep into the playoffs for the last couple of years. They got to the finals in 2022, Eastern Conference Finals in 2023, won the NBA championship last year. Maybe, just maybe, losing right here early on to the rival Knicks, maybe that allows them to get that itch back. Maybe that allows them to get that swagger back because, again, and I'm not trying to slight the Knicks, but the Celtics took their foot off the gas and they played like a team that, the Knicks don't belong on the same court as us. And guess what? They paid for it. The Knicks are a good team. Okay, you don't get this far in the postseason and not be a good team in the NBA. The Knicks are definitely a good team. I feel like the Celtics took them for granted, and again, they paid for it. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Celtics do over the summer to retool and regroup and try to bring this thing back as they'll chase for championship number 19. Like I said, it's going to be very interesting. Not seeing Jason Tatum on the court for the bulk of next season for the C's. Let's see if Jaylen Brown can get that knee healthy over the summer as well. And let's see what this roster looks like due to that luxury tax apron. The Celtics did not expect their season to be over right now, but that's the way that the ball bounces in the NBA. Here today, gone tomorrow, and that is it for the Celtics here in 2025. But folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank each and every one of you for checking out the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for checking us out. And if you like what you heard and saw, please feel free to hit that like button as well as subscribing to this channel. Like I always say, it is greatly appreciated. Also, if you are on the X, formerly known as Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, you give me that follow, I'll give you that follow right back. And the same goes for Instagram, as you can check me out at 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge as well. Also, if you're on Facebook, you can check us out at the Sports Depot 365. Shameless plug, but as far as I'm concerned, one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. But until next time, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I am signing off, and I'm saying thanks once again for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. Be well, everybody.